Today, we are looking at 15 games that didn't just keep us busy, they changed everything. These aren't just crowd pleasers or big sellers. These are the titles that push the entire industry forward. They are the experiences that stick in your head long after the screen goes black. Each one on this list reshaped what we expect from a video game. They raised the bar so high that other studios are still trying to reach it. Hi, I'm Joe from Pixel Pix, and today we aren't just talking about good graphics or fun combat. We are talking about worlds that feel real, stories that make grown men cry, and gameplay that feels perfect in your hands. We have a lot of ground to cover, from ancient Japan to the neon streets of the future, and from the Wild West to the horrors of a zombie outbreak. So let's get straight into it. Ghost of Tsushima delivers the closest thing we have ever had to a true samurai movie in playable form. But it isn't just about the fighting. It is about the world. Think about the guiding wind. Most games clutter your screen with maps, arrows, and waypoints. This game strips all that away. You simply call on the wind and it blows through the tall grass, guiding you to your next objective. It forces you to look at the world, not at a user interface. The combat feels like a dance. It is not just about mashing buttons. It is about knowing when to strike and when to stand still. The standoffs, where you wait for the enemy to twitch before you draw your blade, create a tension that never gets old. Every location feels like a living painting, full of falling leaves and vibrant colors. But the real weight comes from the story. You play as Jin Sakai, a man who has to break his own code to save his home. Watching him shift from an honorable warrior to the ghost is painful. It is a story about sacrifice. It asks you what you are willing to lose to save the people you love. And just when you catch your breath from the beauty of Japan, the next adventure takes us somewhere completely different and much wetter. Please like and subscribe if you are enjoying this video. Next up is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag throws you into the life of a pirate who never planned to be a hero. For a long time, Assassin's Creed was about following rules. Black Flag said, forget the rules, and gave you a ship. Roaming the Caribbean, commanding the Jackdaw, and diving into hidden coves makes the world feel enormous. The brilliance here is the seamless transition. You can go from steering your ship through a massive storm, to boarding an enemy vessel, to fighting on the deck, and then swinging onto land, all without a single loading screen. The sound of your crew singing sea shanties as you sail into the sunset is one of the most memorable feelings in gaming history. But the heart of the game is Edward Kenway. He isn't a noble assassin born into a brotherhood. He is a guy who wants to get rich. Watching his slow climb from a reckless opportunist to someone who finally finds a cause worth fighting for grounds all the chaos in something meaningful. It's a fun, loud, swashbuckling time, but the next game on this list hits on emotion in a far sharper, quieter way. The Last of Us Part 1 isn't just a zombie survival story. If you think that you are missing the point, it is a test of what people cling to when the entire world is falling apart. Joel and Ellie's journey is heavy, tense, and painfully human. The genius of this game is in the pacing. It knows exactly when to scare you and when to let you breathe. The combat is messy and desperate. You never feel like a superhero. You feel like a survivor scraping by with 3 bullets and a brick. Every fight feels like it could be your last, but the quiet moments hit just as hard as the danger. Walking past a herd of giraffes in a ruined city says more without words than most games say with hours of dialogue. The ending is still debated today because it isn't happy and it isn't sad. It is complicated. It forces you to ask yourself what you would do. It is the kind of game that stays with you for years. But while this world is quiet and overgrown, the next world shifts the tone to raw noise and neon-drenched intensity. Cyberpunk 2077 had a rough start. We all know that, but if you look at it now underneath the noise, it is one of the most impressive worlds ever built. Night City feels alive in a way few games ever manage. It feels dangerous, sleazy, and overwhelming. The verticality is insane. You can look up and see skyscrapers vanishing into the smog or look down into dark alleys filled with crime. The writing is top tier. The characters you meet, from Judy to Panam, feel like real people with real problems. And then there's Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, stuck in your head, constantly fighting you for control. The freedom to build your character is what makes it stick. You can be a hacker who fries brains from a distance, or a samurai who slows down time and chops people up. The story pulls no punches. It is a dark look at a future where corporations own everything and life is cheap. It creates a mood that is hard to shake. And if you want an open world that truly sets the gold standard, the next pick is impossible to ignore. The Witcher 3 is the king of open-world RPGs. Before this game, side quests in games were usually boring fetch quests. The Witcher changed that. Here, a random contract to kill a monster might turn into a 5-hour story about a family curse, betrayal, and heartbreak. Every swamp, village, and battlefield feels like it existed long before you arrived. The world doesn't revolve around you. You're just a professional passing through it. You play as Geralt, a monster hunter looking for his adopted daughter, Ciri. This simple goal takes you across a massive continent. The writing is sharp, funny, and adult. Your choices actually matter. Deciding to spare a spirit in a tree might save some orphans but destroy a whole village. The game forces you to live with the consequences. It is a long journey filled with danger, humor, and tough choices. From this massive, sprawling fantasy world, we shift to something more tightly focused, but just as powerful. Uncharted 4 closes the book on Nathan Drake's story, and it does it with the kind of emotional weight most action games never reach. We are used to Drake being the funny hero who escapes everything. But this game shows us an older, tired Drake who's trying to live a normal life and failing. The action scenes are unbelievable. Being dragged behind a truck in the mud or swinging from a rope while a tower collapses, it is pure Hollywood spectacle. But the reason it works is the quiet stuff. Seeing Nathan sit on a couch playing video games with his wife or arguing with his brother Sam adds depth to every risk you take later. It is a game about obsession. It asks if the thrill of adventure is worth losing the people you love. Visually, it is still one of the best-looking games ever made. The pacing is perfect, blending puzzles, shooting, and climbing into a smooth ride. It is a beautiful goodbye to a legend, but what comes next takes us back into the shadows of a much darker hero. Batman Arkham Knight nails what it feels like to be the Batman. The earlier games were great, but Arkham Knight gives you the whole package. You have the suit, the skills, and for the first time, the car. Gotham City is huge, rainy, and completely evacuated, leaving only the criminals and you. The combat system is the peak of the series. You can take on 20 guys at once, countering attacks and using gadgets without breaking your flow. It makes you feel powerful. And then there is the Batmobile. While some people argued about it, using it to eject into the sky and glide across the city creates a loop of movement that feels incredible. The story digs deep into Batman's mind. The Joker is dead, but he is still haunting Batman as a hallucination, mocking you every time you fail. It is a psychological battle as much as a physical one. It is dark, gritty, and polished to perfection. After this high-tech ride, we jump into a masterpiece of historical scale. Red Dead Redemption 2 is storytelling at its absolute highest level. It is a slow burn, but that is the point. It wants you to live in this world. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw watching the Wild West die out. The attention to detail is borderline obsessive. Mud dries on your clothes, your hair grows over time. If you shoot a gun in the mountains, the echo sounds different than in the swamp. The camp feels alive. People eat, sleep, argue, and sing songs whether you are there or not. Arthur's journey is heartbreaking. He's a bad man trying to do one good thing before the end. The bond you build with your horse, the quiet moments fishing, and the chaotic gunfights all blend together. By the time the credits roll, you feel like you have lived a whole lifetime. It is a tragedy, but a beautiful one. From the Old West, we jump to a different kind of myth-making with a very angry father. God of War, the 2018 release, reinvented Kratos without losing what made him iconic. Everyone knew him as the angry guy who yells and kills gods. This game took that guy and made him a father. The dynamic between Kratos and his son Atreus is the core of the game. Kratos is trying to hide his past, and Atreus is trying to prove himself. The camera never cuts. From the moment you press start to the end of the game, it is one continuous shot. This makes everything feel immediate and personal. The combat is heavy. When you throw your axe and recall it, the controller snaps in your hand. It feels incredible every single time. The world is full of Norse mythology, giant snakes, and dragons, but the story is intimate. It is about a father and son learning to talk to each other. It blends huge action with genuine character growth. And if you want pure challenge wrapped in artistry, the next title delivers on a massive scale. Elden Ring took the brutal difficulty of Dark Souls and applied it to a massive open world. And it worked perfectly. The game refuses to hold your hand. There are no question marks on the map telling you where the secrets are. You have to find them. You see a castle in the distance. You can go there. You see a giant tree. You can go there too. The sense of discovery is unmatched. You might ride your horse into a random cave and find an entire underground city. The bosses are terrifying, the weapons are weird, and the magic looks spectacular. It rewards curiosity and punishes impatience. It trusts the player to figure things out. Because the game doesn't explain everything, the community came together to solve the lore and the secrets. It became a global phenomenon because it respected the player's intelligence. But if you want something tighter, faster, and darker, try its spiritual sibling. Bloodborne drags you into a nightmare that moves faster than you can think. While other similar games want you to use a shield and wait, Bloodborne wants you to attack. If you get hit, you have a split second to hit back and regain your health. It forces you to be aggressive. The setting is a twisted version of Victorian London called Ahernam. The streets are wet with blood and rain, the enemies are shouting in madness, and the bosses look like they crawled out of a fever dream. The weapons are the coolest part, swords that turn into hammers or canes that turn into whips. The mystery of the story is deep. You aren't just fighting beasts, you are uncovering a cosmic horror story about gods and aliens. The atmosphere is thick enough to cut with a knife. It is stressful, scary, and unbelievably satisfying when you finally win. Shifting back to something more mainstream, we have a cultural titan. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been around forever and for good reason. It hasn't lost a bit of momentum. The decision to have three main characters, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, was a stroke of genius. It allowed the game to tell three different types of stories at once. Michael is the retired criminal going through a midlife crisis. Franklin is the young guy trying to move up in the world. And Trevor is pure chaos. Being able to switch between them instantly gives the game a unique rhythm. The world of Los Santos is a perfect satire of modern America. It's funny, loud, and incredibly detailed. But the heists are the highlight. Planning a robbery, getting the gear, and executing the plan makes you feel like the director of your own action movie. Whether you want to fly jets, race cars, or just cause trouble, the sandbox never runs out of toys. And when it comes to swinging through a city, the next game owns that feeling completely. Spider-Man 2 takes everything the first game did and amps it up without losing the heart of the characters. The web swinging was already good, but now it is faster. With the new web wings, you can fly through wind tunnels across the city at breakneck speeds. It feels amazing. Having both Peter Parker and Miles Morales as playable characters keeps the story moving fast. You see Peter struggling with the symbiote suit, which makes him more aggressive and angry while Miles tries to save him from himself. The villains, especially Venom and Kraven, are terrifying physical threats. The combat is sharper, with new abilities that let you handle big crowds of enemies. But the game remembers that Spider-Man is best when he is helping people. The small moments, like helping a stranger or fixing a bike, are still there. It is a superhero blockbuster that hits all the right notes. After that, we head into horror territory done right. Resident Evil 2 Remake is how you modernize a classic. This game took a title from the 90s and made it terrifying for a new generation. The fixed camera angles are gone, replaced by an over-the-shoulder view that puts you right in the action. The Raccoon City Police Station is one of the best maps in gaming. It is a puzzle box full of locked doors, hidden items, and zombies. The gore system is gruesome. You shoot a zombie and chunks of it fly off. It makes the enemies feel durable and scary. You are constantly counting your bullets, but the real star is Mr. X. He is a giant tyrant in a trench coat who follows you. You can hear his heavy footsteps thumping on the floor above you. You can't kill him, you can only run. It creates a constant state of panic that keeps your heart racing until the very end. Finally, we wrap this list with a game that demands perfection. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is precision incarnate. Most action games let you grind to get stronger or call a friend for help. Sekiro does not. It gives you a sword and tells you to get good. The combat is based on parrying. You have to deflect the enemy's attacks with perfect timing. When you get it right, it sounds like music, a constant rhythm of clashing steel. It is difficult, but it is fair. When you die, you know it was your fault. You didn't react fast enough. The movement is fantastic, using a grappling hook to zip around rooftops. The bosses are like duels between masters. Beating the final boss in this game is one of the biggest badges of honor in gaming. It demands total focus. It is brutally difficult and impossible to forget. We have to close this list with the game that started the redemption saga. Red Dead Redemption 1 tells the end of the story. You play as John Marston, a man forced by the government to hunt down his old friends. Even though it is older, the story hits harder than almost anything else. John is a tragic figure. He just wants to go home to his family, but his past won't let him go. The moment you ride into Mexico and that song starts playing is pure magic. It captures the loneliness of the West perfectly. The ending is legendary. It is bold, shocking, and brave. It doesn't give you the happy ending you want, it gives you the ending that makes sense. It is the perfect capstone to this lineup because it proves that games can be serious art. These 15 games earned their reputation for a reason. They didn't just fill time, they created memories. Whether you're here for the story, the combat, the exploration, or the pure challenge, each one of these titles brings something unforgettable to the table. They prove that this medium is capable of telling stories that books and movies simply can't. They put you in the driver's seat. They make you feel the weight of the sword, the speed of the car, and the pain of the loss. If you have somehow skipped any of the games on this list, you are missing out on history. Now is the time to fix that. Clear your schedule, pick up a controller, and experience them for yourself. Please like and subscribe for more. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching.